and welcome KCIW listeners at 100.7 KCIW.org, Brookings, Oregon, and syndicated listeners at KZZH 96.7 FM, Access, Humboldt, Eureka, California. Here we are. This is Joyously Free Radio with me, Joanie Lindenmeyer, the best-selling author of None Better, an amazing love story. I'm so glad you are tuning in today. So I'm a 34-year resident of Harbor, Oregon, a retired Del Norte High School teacher, and an author who has published 3 books in 2 years and created an audiobook in my own voice of my memoir, None Better. Most importantly, I love life and love being the producer and host of this fabulous, inspiring show where you get to meet some of my friends and incredible guests. Let's begin with our morning salutation. I say, it's a brand new day, and your response is, it's never been lived before. Here we go. Kathy, you ready? It's a brand new day.
It's never been lived before.
Yahoo! I love it. I love it. Thank you for saying that. So this Radio Gadio show, as Will and Viv named it, is a show that talks about LGBTQ plus stories and tips, along with religion, church, faith, spirituality, and joy. Simply said, the purpose of the show is to share, radiate, and spread abundant joy and freedom. Hence the title, Joyously Free. It is also the title of my second book that I co-authored with Elizabeth Ann Atkins of twosisterswriting.com. So in this radio show today, just as every day in my life, there will be no hate speech, no hate behaviors, and no bullying. Our guest, as well as myself, we will blast it forth with 3 C's: courage, confidence, and collaboration. And wait till you hear our topic. Woohoo! Our special guest is just a little bit away on a phone today, coming from Ashland, Oregon. But let's begin first with a prayer. Let's open our hearts, asking our Creator to shine light on our community and our world. I excitedly believe and hope in the power of the divine, and that Jesus, God's Spirit, whatever name you put on a higher being, is always with me and with you. So we need not be afraid or troubled, saddened or depressed. Joy and peace are an internal expression, and all we have to do is let it out. So let's center ourselves. Calmly, let's take a big, deep breath in with the good and out with doubt. Again, in a calm version, breathe in through your nose with hope and out from your mouth with fears. Last one, breathe deeply, in with joy and out with worry or despair. In the name of Mother Earth, God our Creator, Jesus our Redeemer, and the blowing winds of the Holy Spirit, we say good morning, hi, thank you for being with us today. Well, for today's quote, I picked this from my spiritual book. It's a quote, and it's pretty simple, but I think it had a big message. It says, your life is your message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring. Oh, I'm going to read that one more time. Your life is your message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring. When I read that this morning and I reflected upon that and I meditated upon that, all I could think of was that each one of us are here for a reason. Our message is for this world. Whatever our message is to be inspiring. And in my world, I think of that as joy. I think of that as sharing authenticity, integrity. But each one of us, our life, your life is a message to the world. Make sure it's inspiring. Let us end our morning reflection by lifting up our friends and family. May we find our Creator guidance and healing. May we thank the Holy One for being with us, helping us to do a bigger will than just me. Let's have a happy day together on KZIW and KZZH. So, Kathy, you are my guest today. I am super thrilled and excited. We've known each other for a while. We have mutual friends. And lo and behold, you are just a phenomenal person. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Wow, what a welcome.
Oh, you bet.
You're just a beacon of light.
Oh, thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. Well, listeners, Kathy Callie is a coach, an author, and a real estate professional. She has a topic today that she has titled, Give, Save, Spend, How to Build Wealth and Change the World. I love that topic. Kathy, tell me more about this topic and your life.
Well, I'm so honored to be here. And my mission has always been to support women's empowerment, LGBTQ plus empowerment, and the empowerment of marginalized communities. And I feel
Wow.
very passionate about helping people with their finances.
Wow. And that's how I was first introduced to you by my publisher, editor, and friend, Catherine Greenspan. She said, "Oh my gosh, Kathy is the guru of finances." So you are with us today to help us to make our lives better in that world. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I always was an artistic and creative person.
Mm-hmm.
I started my career as a singer, as an actress, and as a dancer.
Ah.
And I had to figure out the money piece
Okay.
because nobody gives you a manual that says, here's how to become a wealthy artist, right? So I had to figure out how to make money, how to manage it. Made a lot of mistakes over the years, but as I developed in my career, and I've always done something creative, I started teaching friends and clients what I had been learning about money. And the first 10 years of my coaching was spiritual prosperity coaching. So I taught a lot about mindset and giving and tithing, which we'll talk about,
Good.
and being in gratitude and doing those prayers and affirmations. I love that you set the tone for us with that because that's so helpful for the brain
Mm-hmm.
to manifest things. And then the second 10 years of my money coaching has been more practical, right? Like investing, getting out of debt, how to budget and really funnel your money where you want it to go. So I like to come at things from a spiritual and a practical approach.
Awesome.
And then there's the three main things that we can talk about today: giving, saving, and spending. We'll talk about those big three.
Oh my gosh, fabulous. And they're all coming from your lived experience. You mentioned you're a singer, an artist, and a dancer. Holy moly. Did you do those three things together? Was the singing the art and the dancing the art, and then you just let it rip?
No, but that sounds great. I mean, I really should be in musical theater, but maybe that'll be my next adventure.
Well, I don't know. You and I were on a retreat a month or so ago, and I heard you sing, and I heard you, and I saw you dance. So that was a fun day.
Yeah, thanks. That's so fun for me. I really enjoy it. But no, I usually would do them separately. Like in my 20s, I played music in nursing homes and care facilities. I
Oh,
recorded a CD of original music.
wow.
Then in my 30s, I taught it's called tantric dance. It's a kind of a movement meditation practice for women. Like the word tantric, it's not quite the way some people perceive that. It's more like breathing and yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So very sort of peaceful and internal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I taught that form of dance, and I also was in a belly dance troupe. And then I also have, brought my creativity into my classes. A lot of times when I teach, I'll bring in crafting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll do sewing, sometimes we'll do vision boards, sometimes we'll
Oh.
be making something with our hands because that's part of the creative process. A lot of the people I work with are entrepreneurs, and as entrepreneurs, we're just naturally creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know this as an author, you've
Mm-hmm.
been so creative yourself.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. And creativity is all a big this whole thing. That's what it's about. And now we're going to be creative with money. And it sounds like you got creative with money because it was like, how do I make the money? How do I do this? And you mentioned the word mistakes. Oh, have I made mistakes with the money part of stuff? Oh, jump into any of that
Oh,
with
yes.
us.
Sure, I will. I will. So, I would say the biggest mistake that I made in my younger years was not knowing or understanding about giving. So I was very self-serving with my money in my 20s, and maybe that was appropriate for the age, right? I
Mm-hmm.
I did I did nurture myself a lot, and I was really focused a lot on my personal growth, and I spent a lot on therapy and things like that, massages, which I love to get. So that was good in terms of self-care, but it wasn't until my 30s that I really discovered about giving and tithing. And so I want to talk about that as the number one of the big three. is the giving practice, having a practice of circulating money to other people who have benefited us. So this can be giving to a church or synagogue or temple, to our spiritual community, if we're part of one. If we're not part of one, we can be looking for that and shopping for a community that is meaningful to us. And we can also be giving to individuals.
Yes.
Maybe you have a counselor that's been really nurturing your spirit. Maybe you have a coach who's been helping you to achieve your goals within a context of spiritual meaning. Maybe you're inspired by some artist that really nurtures your spirit. So I always encourage people to really search their soul and find where to give that's meaningful to them. No one can tell you where to tithe to. It's a very personal choice. And I do want to say, I want to explain about the word tithing.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know what that is if they're not involved in a church community. So tithing actually came from the Babylonians, who were a female-oriented culture, matriarchal culture. So I think there's no accident there. We tend to believe that. I believe that women, we naturally share. It's just the way we are. And so in that culture, people were encouraged to give or tithe 10% of whatever their resources were back to the temple. And so at that time, it wasn't money. It was probably grain, probably animals.
Chickens.
Right, exactly. Whatever they had, they would share with their source of spiritual nourishment to their spiritual temples, and it would nurture, the people who were working to help lead the community spiritually. And ironically, it became kind of like a bank, so that in times of famine, the temple would then share with the community. So it's kind of like the way churches today sometimes will help the homeless. That kind of thing.
And so the tithing is all about giving something meaningful from you to an organization or organizations. So can a person say tithe 5% to one place, 5% to another, or whatever percentage they want?
Absolutely. And I recommend, if someone's not tithing at all, they don't have to go straight for the full 10% if they don't want to. Just start giving 1%. Some giving is better than no giving at all.
Excellent.
And I mean, when I first learned about it, I started giving 10% right away, just because I knew it would help my spirit. I had been in a place of giving too much just to myself. I needed to get out of my own little bubble. And to contribute to something beyond me and to be part of something bigger. And so it really opened me up. I actually had my very first tithing miracle when I was about 35. I had started this yoga meditation business for women, and I had about $3,000 in business expenses that were piling up one month. And I was really nervous and really afraid. I didn't know how the heck I was going to manage that. I had gone from being a stay-at-home mom, and my kids were little, to, running a business where I was teaching classes and doing private sessions. And so I was making some money, but not a lot. And so I was really terrified. How the heck am I going to manage this? And then I remembered, oh my gosh, I'm in fear. I'm in fear. And I noticed that about myself. And I also remembered, I have not tithed yet this month. And I knew every time I tithed, it relaxed me. It helped me feel faith. It helped me feel ease and relaxation. And so I went ahead and wrote a tithe check. This is back when we write checks. Right now, we'd mostly do it online, but or maybe we send someone a check or some cash in the mail. But anyway, so I wrote this check, and it was a small amount because 10% of what I had made that week as an entrepreneur, it was a low amount. I think I wrote the check for $10. Honestly, I really think I did, because I think I'd only brought in 100 that week. So I wrote out the check to the place where I felt spiritually inspired, and I sent it off. And as soon as I sent it off, my whole being changed. I relaxed in a place where I didn't even know I was tense. I
Uh-huh.
I just felt at ease. I felt faith in the universe that everything was going to work out. And then lo and behold, the next day, I had a $3,000 day in my business.
Whoa. Yep. Yep.
I
Oh,
brought
I
in
love it.
$3,000.
I
Yeah.
love it. Oh my gosh, that's a miracle. You started by saying it's a miracle. Oh, yes.
Yes.
And I call those things
Yes.
joyously free. When you give like that and you're joyously free from the inside out, that's incredible. Oh, what a great example and what a story and what a life you have. Oh my gosh. So that's the giving part. That's the tithing part.
Yes.
The second one is
Yes.
save. You want to talk to us about save?
Sure, sure. So I tend to do things by extremes. So I really dove into giving and I gave so much. I was giving 20% away.
Ooh.
And I was making great money. I had like $100,000 a year the year that I was giving 20% away.
Uh-huh.
And so it was good. It was a fabulous year in terms of circulation. But then I had a real come to Jesus moment, if you
Uh-huh.
call it, where I just was not able to save anything. And I had nothing left. Everything was coming in and going out. And I don't know if you've ever had that
Yes, I
experience,
have.
but yeah, it's kind of like the American way. Unfortunately, a lot of people are in this just like I owe, so off to work I go. And and um and I had moved to a new town after my divorce with my two small children. I had a decent divorce settlement, but because my income did a nosedive at that point, moving to a new community, I was not able to afford to buy a home for myself and my children. And that was a hard wake-up call for me that I had not saved money.
Mm-hmm.
I had learned how to give, but I really had not learned how to save. And so what I did was I really had to grieve. I had to grieve a lot of things, grieving the intact family, grieving the I didn't grieve that person that I left.
Uh-huh.
It was a good choice for me to leave, but there was grief involved with taking my kids away from that stability. So um and once I dove into my grief and really processed those feelings, then I was able to attract some new resources and I discovered the power of saving. So I pulled back on my giving to just the traditional 10%,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to first get out of debt, because that's kind of the first step with saving. Is if you're in the negative with your saving, which debt is consumer debt is a negative. I don't count mortgages because those are related to an appreciating asset.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have credit card debt, student loan debt, car debt, personal loans, that is all just weighing you down with unneeded interest. And it's basically putting your wealth in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked hard to get out of debt. I had about $20,000 in debt, and it wasn't like spoiled brat debt. It was like survival single mom debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked to get rid of that. And then I built up an emergency fund. So that's kind of the next part of saving,
Uh-huh.
is building up, it's recommended to have about $10,000 per household um, in emergency savings.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, that relaxes you in a way that you never would feel otherwise. I mean, my goodness, when I got that emergency fund together, my stress level went so down. It was wonderful. I really had no fear
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
before that I was, living in a lot of stress and fear as a single parent. And people talk a lot about cortisol, like my cortisol was through the roof, my stress hormone. I was just, really stressed. And then once I had that 10 grand in the bank, whew, boy, that was just
And that
such
was
a
your goal.
relief.
That was your goal. So you probably didn't start out with an initial 10,000 in the emergency fund. You had to build up to that,
No,
correct?
had to build up to that. And then after that, I started to save money to purchase a home and to invest.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the next levels of saving.
Mm-hmm.
And having a budget was a tool for me. I know not everyone likes to use a written budget. Some people have different methods that work for them. Everyone has to find the method that works for them, but I like using a software that shows me where every dollar is going every month, because then I can be very conscious and make conscious decisions about where my money is going.
Good point. Good point. And this is what you do. When you say you're a coach, you're a financial coach. You're a life coach
Yes.
and a financial coach. And so people, how do they get a hold of you, Kathy, if they're thinking right now, oh my gosh, I think I need to talk this over with somebody?
Oh, great. Well, they can go to my website, kalicoaching.org, and that's my last name, Kali, and then the word coaching.org. And they can message me there. I'm happy to chat with them, always for free, for a 15-minute consult, and just see if I can be of help. And if not, I'm happy to refer people to free resources. The other thing on my website is my book is there.
Oh, that's
called
right.
Give, Save, Spend
Yeah.
to Build Wealth and Change the World. And so that is at kalicoaching.org.
Can you repeat the name of the title of that book too as well?
Yes. Give, Save, Spend, How to Build Wealth and Change the World.
There you go. That's the title and the topic today. And is that available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all the online stuff as well?
It is not. At some point, I probably will go that route. Mostly, I've had it available for my clients.
Okay.
It's kind of a value add.
But it is available on your website?
It is.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I know we're down to like 4 or 5 minutes. So we've got the giving, we got the saving, and then what do you think of the next one? Let's talk about spend, huh?
Oh, yeah. So we all love to spend, right? At least I should say that I myself love that. I am a spender, and I love to spend for my own pleasure, and I love to spend money on the people I love. So, but the spend being the very last of the three means that it is your lifestyle can fit around your giving and saving. And so I always recommend it in my classes and when in my private sessions, when I have people do their conscious spending plan, I have them prioritize the giving. How much are they going to be giving? I have them prioritize the saving, what's going into savings or investments or debt pay down. And then the spending, the lifestyle can work around that. And this is a head turner for most Americans, because we spend first, and then at the end of the month, we go, oh, there's too much month at the end of the money. I don't have any money left. I don't have any money left for giving or saving.
Been there.
Yeah. This is the common problem. I mean, and I have it as well, with the wealth that I have built. With my new partner, we have several rental properties and a primary residence that we own, and we have savings, and we plan for things with various different savings accounts. So we're at a place of greater wealth than before, but we even have to be careful about lifestyle creep. I mean, it's the struggle is real. So so I'm continually returning to my spiritual practices of where am I giving, where am I saving, and then let the spending work around that. And sometimes that can mean adjusting your lifestyle. But if you notice, oh, my mortgage or my rent is taking up half of my income, wow.
Yep.
And I don't have any ability to give or save, well, that's a problem.
Yep.
Then there's an opportunity there for some reassessment.
Oh, right on. Oh boy. Whew. I could tell you stories from my nunhood to my non-nunhood for about that. Oh my gosh. Yes. Lifestyle.
I bet.
Yeah, I bet.
You had to learn the financial skills of the secular world.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And there's a funny story in my book, None Better, about that too. But meanwhile, I know we're down to like a minute, Kathy. Can you sort of summarize or give any final comment you have for this great, great interview today?
Absolutely. I want to talk about the changing the world part, because that is what ties it all together. And that is that the giving, what we give, is tied to our life purpose and what we're here for. And I like to ask people, as a little key to help them know where to give, what would you be doing if you were a millionaire? So, or when you are a millionaire, because,
Mm-hmm.
some people may be close to that or have that as a goal for themselves. So, when you are a millionaire, what kind of bigger giving will you be doing? And I've always said, giving to the single moms, giving to the disenfranchised, giving to marginalized populations to help them get ahead. And that's why in my giving, that's oftentimes places that I'm giving
Awesome.
because that's what's meaningful to me.
Awesome.
So just know that you're here to be a force for good in the universe, and you don't have to wait till you're a millionaire to start
Woohoo!
doing it.
I love that's a great final comment. You don't have to wait to become a millionaire to do it. You are a force of good right now. Kathy, you are good. You are so good. I want to thank you from the top of my heart, the bottom of my heart. Here's a great big hug over the phone to you. Thank you
Oh,
for this
right
wisdom here.
back
Oh my, thank you. Thank you. And listeners, we want to thank you for tuning in today in a joyously free manner. I hope that Kathy has offered you some incredible tips, hopes, loves, and joys that you can use in your life. It's just been a phenomenal day. We want to thank Mike Gorse on the sound today, Tom Bozak, Candace, and Rose for making all of this happen. Let's give a shout out to the people that have gifted me this joyously free radio show, Steve Van Cleve and Sally and Todd Roy. You know what, everybody? The day is going to move by so fast, so we're going to end it right here with a smile big, wear bright colors, and Kathy, thank you.
You're welcome.